on supporting women in comedy. Hey, can you turn me up, please?
Yeah, good.
Thank you, friend. Now, y'all, wow. What a good-looking crowd. Yeah. Some of you a little better looking than others. Look at that. 203-912-7274. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm in a relationship, okay? Yeah. We actually just celebrated our 2 years. His name is Jack. We have a nice townhome out in Lincoln. I'm really adjusting well to the trad wife lifestyle. No, I'm just fucking with you. I don't date a man. This guy's like, oh fuck, I thought my gaydar was broken. I don't even know where you go to get gaydar fixed. I don't think they have it at O'Reilly's. I guess I could check out Circuit City. Ah, shit. I laughed at her doing the dance. I thought the dance was a bit. I thought that it was comedic because she was playing against Top. Her Top being a millennial lesbian. But now knowing that she's not a millennial lesbian, I was just laughing at her dancing. That was just her self-expression. I laughed at her art. No, Bubba, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you in a moral quandary. I am, in fact, dating a woman. Oh, sweet, yeah. I really love you too. Yeah, like this draws. Yeah, I love that. But there are a lot of men out there. Thank you so much for coming. I was really worried that they were going to be like, oh no, am I gay? If I go, you're not. Oh no, but I am trying to be nicer to men. I realized that I was a bit of, what's like the opposite of a misogynist? Misandry, yeah, that's the one. Thank you. You can tell how big of a problem it is by how we had to crowdsource the definition. But I used to be a bit of a misandrist. I used to hate men a lot more. And I think I inherited it from my mom. So I blame her. My parents are divorced like every other millennial. And my mom used to take me to spin classes when I was young, which is just like a non-branded Soul Cycle. So it's just like stationary biking, and she was the instructor. And so I would be in there because it was cheaper than babysitting. And so I'd be in there, and it's a black room, all dark, with black lights on, and music playing. And my mom would be like, all right, ladies, start to pedal, you're at a 4. It's like, all right, ladies, we're going up to a 6. I'm spitting on you, I'll back up. All right, ladies, we're going up to an 8. All right, ladies, I'm still spitting on you. This wasn't part of the bit, I'll just back up though. We're going up to a 10, climb that hill. All right, ladies, I want you to pedal like your ex-husband is chasing you up this hill. And but these women, they like released something deep and feral. They all turned into Lance Armstrong on their metal chariots, galloping into Rome to set the city ablaze. Ah! And they're all screaming, fuck you, Brad! Fuck you, John! Fuck you, Jim! Fuck you, Jim! That was my father. So that was my introduction to Community. But I am trying to be nicer to guys now, so thank you fellas for coming out. And women, make some noise! Now, y'all, are you ready for your first stand-up comedian? Oh, shucks, you came. I saved your seat, but then I unsaved it. But these are better seats. Welcome. Now, that's okay. You got your whole blankie. You're hard to miss. This guy's burning inside. You might see something. I don't know. Now, we've got things in the rafters. Now, y'all, your first comedian, you can see them on stage here performing in Wrap It Up, in Fresh. They're regular at El Rocco open mics. Give it up for AJ!
Crowd tonight. Give it up for yourselves. Are there any queer folks in the house tonight? Yeah. Where are my straight folks at? What? Straight pride. Okay. I did want to include y'all because I still believe in diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am a part of the LGBT community, better known as Let's Go Burn Teslas. Catch me on Abercorn. And I actually do real LGBT community organizing as my day job. Or as I like to say, I'm gay for pay. As y'all can probably tell, I am the DEI hire for tonight. And that's because I'm, say it with me, bisexual, exactly, yes, good job. I'm also the DEI hire for another reason. And that's because I am, say it with me, a non-binary person, yes! If y'all didn't pass that test, we're gonna have a conversation after this. So I do identify as non-binary. Unfortunately, my paycheck still identifies with the gender wage gap. Yes, and so I'm sure you're probably wondering, why is a non-binary person part of Big Chick Energy? And that's because the producers of this show knew that I had a great pair of chicks. My girlfriend and her girlfriend. No, I'm actually hopelessly single. And I have not done a lot of dating in my life. It makes a lot more sense when you realize that I do improv. But I have not done a lot of dating because I pretended to be straight for 20 years. I thought that I could lie to myself. I thought I could make my mother proud. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. But I put a lot of my blood, sweat, and tears into pretending to be straight. I really thought that after my dedication, that I would at least get retirement benefits. I did not. The only thing I left my run of heterosexuality with was 3 orgasms and the ability to suck the meat out of crab leg in under 10 seconds. Yes, I have timed it. But I was down bad when I was dating, man. I was in the trenches. I once dated a black man that wore colored contacts perpetually. He slept in them. Yeah. To this day, I don't know that man's eye color. Probably for the best. He did end up ghosting me. But you know what? I like to think of it as, I dodged a bullet. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's not fair to dodge. I Tesla'd a bullet. And I know some of y'all are probably wondering, all 3 of those orgasms were from him. So while we're talking about my dating life, I was driving down Victory the other day, heading towards Home Depot, and traffic was backed up. It was really kind of confusing. I was like, oh my goodness, is there a lesbian convention in town? Or a Janelle Monáe concert? So I went inside because I am looking for a girlfriend. And when I walked in, there was indeed a lesbian convention in there. Or as they like to call it, their full-time employees. They had a variety of lesbians in there. Any type of lesbian you could think of. But I specifically was looking for a stud. Now, if you don't know, a stud is a black masculine lesbian. So think Tracy Chapman, woo! The Brat, or any member of Migos. And when I tell y'all that I found the thickest stud in there, so my picture frames are about to be secure as hell. No, I did not find a girlfriend this time around, but I did learn about a stud finder app. Did y'all know there was a stud finder app? Some of y'all knew some. It was news to me. There's a stud finder app. It's called Hinge. So my door frames are about to be secure as heck. So I just want to thank y'all. Y'all have been a great audience. I appreciate y'all. Yeah. I've been AJ Gray. Y'all have a good night. Cheers to the next show. Enjoy the night.
Y'all give it up for AJ Gray! There were so many reactions out there. Also, this is the difference between lesbians on how we define a stud finder. Because I am the one who's like, beep, 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 beep. Also, your reaction to colored context was intense. You're like, no, that's how they hide their soul. And you over here, you're like, stud finder, hell yeah, I'm on that. I paid for the extra subscription fees. We're on there, we're looking. Now, y'all, are y'all ready for your next comic? Now, this woman here has performed here on stage at Savannah tonight. You'll catch them at Totally Awesome Bar. They're a wonderful comedian. Give it up for Lily Deacon!
Give it up for your host, guys. You guys are gonna have to forgive me, but I did buy a Tesla this week. I know, but they're cheap right now. And it's not one of the self-driving ones, but it almost is. Like, if I get close to something, it'll start beeping. And then if I get really close, it'll start beeping a little bit louder, and the steering wheel will kind of lock up. And then if I get super close, it'll, like, threaten to release the Epstein files, but ultimately chickens out. It's really weird. I've been going to the gym a lot lately. Thank you. Which I only say to impress you. And I saw this one guy at the gym. He was like maxing out the leg press machine, and all he had next to him was a Bible. Because who needs creatine when you have Christ? You know? The breakup that must have led to that situation is unimaginable. I gotta meet that girl. This guy needs 12 spotters now. Do you understand? He's on his last bulk. You guys like Bible jokes? Alright, I was in Italy recently and I had a cough. And it was like getting really bad. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? But it's free here, so I'll just go to the doctor. So I went, and the lady was like, you have to cough for 2 weeks, no cigarette, no vinegar. And I was like, my two vices. But it worked, and then I didn't have a cough anymore. I came back to the US 2 weeks later, started smoking cigarettes again. And I've been trying to quit cigarettes for a while. Any nicotine addicts? It's really hard. I was talking to my therapist and I was like, what can I do to like quit cigarettes, realistically? And she was like, you can't just try to quit cold turkey. You gotta look up NRT, nicotine replacement therapy. It's alternate sources of nicotine, and you can use it to like wean yourself off. I said, okay. So I'm looking up alternate sources of nicotine, and I'm going down the list. It's giving me all this boring nonsense like Nicorette and patches. I've tried all that. I get to the bottom of the list, and it says tomatoes. Tomatoes have naturally occurring nicotine. I was like, no way. But where am I going to find a dominatrix who's willing to put out a tomato on my tongue? So, haven't found one. I used to be on the dating apps, and I just kind of got sick of them, because I feel like, okay, Bumble is kind of like Zillow, but for people. And then Tinder is kind of like Airbnb. And then Hinge is kind of like the Chili's and Pooler, because I'm banned for life. So I do like Zillow though. Speaking of Zillow, I've been looking at a bunch of like the houses in Savannah. All these beautiful old Victorian houses are so gorgeous. And I look at them kind of like how the Army Rangers look at strippers. I'm like, oh, she's perfect. It'll be expensive, but I think I can fix her. I'll have to take out a loan, but I think it'll be worth it because she's different. A lot of people say that you won't know real love until you have a kid. Have you guys ever heard that? Yeah. You guys don't have like pressuring grandparents like me? People say that. They're like, you won't know true unconditional love until you have a kid. But I'm kind of worried about having a kid, because like, I'm gonna have a hot kid, and like, what if it gets molested, you know? I'm just being honest. Or worse, what if it gets molested, and then like, as a result of all the trauma, it becomes really funny, and then it takes my job? You know, that would be upsetting to me. And then another thing that I'm worried about with kids is you have to discipline them, right? And like, some people get over-disciplined and it makes them super fucked up. Some people get under-disciplined and it makes them slackers. So I was talking to my friend and he was like, yeah, my dad over-disciplined me a lot. Even if I minorly messed up as a kid, he would strangle me. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think you know the very important distinction between getting strangled and getting choked. Because you'll know when you've been strangled, because you'll be dead. And you'll know when you've been choked, because you'll come. Speaking of like kinky nonsense, do you guys know what a polycule is? Yeah! I knew you guys would. But for those of you that don't know, who aren't from Savannah, a polycule is a group of people who exclusively fuck each other, which, didn't we used to just call that a restaurant? I wrote like 3 other endings for that joke. Didn't we used to just call that a family reunion? Didn't we used to just call that a church? I'll leave you guys with this. I feel like, okay, speaking of church, we have this set is like weirdly religious, I'm just noticing now. That's alright, we'll unpack that later. Are there any Christian girls in the house right now? Yes! Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna tell you guys my favorite thing about Christian girls. Are you ready? Okay, my favorite thing about Christian girls is how, like, when they're eating you out, their cross necklace just kind of like tickles your butthole. Alright, thank you guys so much.
Y'all, give it up for Lily Deacon! Well, that's the first thing that's made me consider dating a Christian. Honey, we can talk about conversion later. Y'all, we've got 2 more comedians left for you. Next up, we have one of the funniest children in Savannah. She is so wonderful. She's actually a comedian that I really look up to in terms of style and grace and energy. You have seen her all around the Southeast. She did Don't Tell Comedy out in Dallas, Texas. Give it up for my son, Evie Richards!
Before I got here, so I'm thrilled to be with you all tonight. You're a beautiful Andre. You're a beautiful audience. My goodness, wow, I'm so thrilled. Stage dive! I'm so thrilled to be here. My God. You know, it's good to be back in Savannah. I'm excited to be here at Front Porch. That's why I'm dressed like, you know, a child in 3rd grade doing a very misleading project about the Black Panthers that they should not have been involved in. So, that's right, I'm experimenting with hats, everybody. So, anyway, you know, it was cool. I was out of town. I was flying back to Savannah, and half the flight were, you know, these sort of 18, 19-year-old boys, and they all had these yellow packets because they were enlisting in the military, and the other half of the people on the flight were scat kids, you know, flying back to Savannah for school. So everybody on that flight had a shaved head, but for a different reason. So, you know, it's a very, very diverse city we have here. You know, me and my boyfriend, we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. No, wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be so nuts? No, me and my girlfriend, you know, I love my girlfriend. She's one of those witchy girls. Has anybody else here ever had their life ruined? Yeah, my girlfriend is one of those witchy girls, you know, like crystals and all of that. It's super fun, you know, every time we argue, I have to watch my back, because I'm 5 foot even, right? So, you know, I'm worried she's going to get mad at me one of these days, and I'm going to walk outside and just get carried off by a bunch of crows. So, you know, it's not safe out here. It's not safe, but we celebrated our 1-year anniversary, you know. So yeah, it's also, she cannot be here tonight. She is in hell. Not because she's gay, because she lives in Rhode Island. That's why, you know. But no, we were celebrating our 1-year anniversary, but before I went up to see her, her grandfather passed away, like 3 days before, you know, we were supposed to have our anniversary. So, you know, we ended up having to cancel all of our anniversary plans that we had, but, you know, it's fine because it's what he would have wanted anyway, right? So, you know, we spent the actual day of our anniversary at the wake, which if any of you have ever been to a wake, that's where you stand in a line full of all the people who are next come and shake your hand. So that's, okay, great. So none of us have lost family members. Alright, you guys, I know it's not for everybody, you know. Oh my goodness, I accidentally Shazammed the song when I was coming up here, you know. But we were on the way to the funeral home, right, to, you know, to go to the wake, and she prefaced me, and she sat me down, and yes, yeah, that's, so she sits me down, and she's like, hey, I just need you to know that my Uncle Tony, he's super annoying, whatever, you know, he's gonna try to talk to you about politics, right, you know, we all have a family member that has been alive too long, right, like that's, we have that, so she's like, hey, you know, my Uncle Tony, gonna talk about politics. I'm like, I am from rural Texas. Like, I can, you know, I can handle it. So, you know, I go in there, and I'm standing at the wake, and what do I know? Uncle Tony, he comes up to me. So I go, okay, all right, here we go. So the first thing out of his mouth is, you know, my thing with transgenders that I can't stand is that they won't let them play sports. What she failed to mention to me on the drive over was that her Uncle Tony was like a hardline leftist. So like, his voice sounded like a diesel truck, you know, so it's like, you know, but his opinions were that of like a bisexual girl who graduated from a historically women's college. So I ended up having to excuse myself so I wouldn't go cross-eyed. So, you know, there's that. What else? do I have in here? I'm in the process of looking for internships right now, my first big girl job, I'm really excited. I'm looking for remote jobs, or all remote work from home jobs. Does anybody else here have a fake job? Anybody? If you do not have to go to the office, your job is not real. So, our world has changed so much though. The thing that sucks the worst about remote jobs is that it's really hard to sleep your way to the top. So like every interview, everything I've gotten has had to be like purely off of merit instead of like my rocking hot bod. It's really exhausting. Like, hey, 36, 36, 36. That is a winning hand. Oh my goodness. Can you believe our job market is terrible right now, right? Is anybody here unemployed? Okay, you guys are at an all-women's comedy show like on a Friday. Like I'm telling you, there should be more hands going up. But can you believe that our job market used to be so secure that all it took to gain a position was a couple minutes of okay head? Do you know how long it takes to get a letter of recommendation? It took me 3 days and 6 emails. You know how long it takes to get head? A couple minutes, maybe, right? I don't know, I think it's unfair. Those are, that joke, I just called it my thoughts on the Me Too movement. So that's, I like to try new angles, so. These internships also have access to my social media where I post the things that I say, so that's why I don't hear back from a lot of them. It's a hard time to be a young person. Is anybody young? Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, we all have our cartilage, right? But it's still hard. It's difficult. Like I was born too early for the sun to explode, right? And just witness the end of the long march of miserable humanity finally come to its conclusion. And I was born too early for Quaaludes. So it's a very difficult time to be a young person, I just turned 20 a few weeks ago, which is cool. But there's a big difference between being 19 and 20, right? Like I'm not like a sexy baby anymore. Like there's a lot of privileges that you sort of lose overnight. Like my parents' divorce is getting finalized soon. But you guys don't give a fuck because I'm an adult. So it doesn't hit the same. Right? Are there any children of divorce in here? Okay, so statistically that's around 51% of you. If you're a child of divorce, your biggest problem is just mom and dad don't love each other anymore. But I'm an adult of divorce. So my whole thing is sort of oh no, the married couple I have dinner with twice a year aren't seeing each other anymore. It doesn't hit the same. I went home recently because I'm addicted to raising my cortisol. It's how I keep my face puffy. My mom was going on and on about how good of a mother she is, right? As moms do. So that's my best friend from kindergarten who also had an emotionally manipulative mother is here tonight, and she really liked that one. So she was going on and on about how great of a mother she was, and the one thing she kept saying was she was like, well, at least your father and I did not get divorced when you and your brother were kids. And all I could say to that was, yes, thank God. The two of them, those two lovebirds, those two crazy kids stuck it out long enough so that me and my brother could cherish the memories of them fighting every single night in front of us at dinner over the driest chicken we've ever eaten, right? I think I will hold on to that, even once makes you want to put it on a Christmas ornament. But I am getting older. I was looking in the mirror recently, and I realized that I'm sort of starting to lose my teenage features. I look more like an adult now. The thing that I realize is that day by day, slowly but surely, I'm losing grip on my big dream, which is being one of the decoy girls on To Catch a Predator. I actually really did not write a second half to that joke. So it's more of a tweet. So the last thing I will leave you guys with before I go home to watch documentaries about World War I. Listen, you can't expect me to be, Sauve and the Playboy that you see before you. I have to unwind a little bit. But, I was out of town recently, like I said. I was in San Francisco. I was running the San Francisco Half Marathon. Has anybody here ever ran a marathon or a half marathon? Anything like that? Yeah, see, I know it was you guys because when I said that, your faces lit up. People who run marathons, they love to talk about it. Now, you might notice I'm not in running shape, which, fuck you, and also you're 100% correct. No, I'm not in running shape, but my mom was turning 50, but she also has a disorder, so, she wanted to go and run the San Francisco Half Marathon for her birthday, right? Because, we stopped caring about people having eating disorders when they're over the age of 30, so that's why we did that, but, I don't know if you guys know this, but since its opening in the mid-1930s, the Golden Gate Bridge has had more than 2,000 people commit suicide from jumping off the side into the ocean below it, like in the area where Alcatraz is. And last year, in 2024, the city spent over $5 million putting anti-suicide railings and fences all along the sides of the Golden Gate Bridge so that nobody could commit suicide off of it anymore. And the thing that I realized would have saved them, thank you Ava, a lot more money is if they did not make the Golden Gate Bridge mile 11 of the San Francisco Half Marathon. 1,998 people, mile 11. The other two actually depressed. There's a mental health crisis in this country. There's a male loneliness epidemic. Have you guys heard about that? I'm anti-vax for the male loneliness epidemic. I think y'all should stay that way, but I've never said that before. I just realized I'm just playing around up here. But the last thing I will leave you guys with, which is the second last thing that I will leave you guys. So I'm just gonna do another 30 and get us all out of here. I usually don't really tell jokes about my personal sex life or anything like that. I have a long-term girlfriend. I chose to be sort of in the public. She decided not to be, so that's, I don't really tell jokes about my sex life. And tonight is no different. So this concludes my set. All right, thank you guys so much. I'm going to do a
don't have HR here because the questions we're asking you are insane. It's like, hey, what's up? Any Catholics out there? All right, got that one in. All right, any young people out there? Sweet. All right, anybody was fertile and then now isn't maybe? Is anybody pregnant? No. Oh man. Now y'all, we've got one more comedian left for you. Now, I once went fishing with this woman, and we were on the beach, and she got a phone call, and I was like, shit, I forgot to call out of work. What do you mean? She works at Publix. This isn't like an optional appearance job, And she was like, I gotta take this, and goes, hey, yeah, what's up? Sorry, no, I told him I wouldn't be able to make it in today. I'm at a meeting. There are waves crashing in the background. There are seagulls chirping overhead. She hangs up. She's like, at a meeting? At a meeting to go fishing. 5 minutes later, she goes, who cares about work when God made all of these mollusks? Y'all, our next comedian, you've seen her all around downtown Savannah. She has toured the Southeast. She's been in Jacksonville. She's been in Charleston. She asked me to include Pittsburgh, despite the fact that it's not in the Southeast. And she also performed at Last Word Comedy Fest. Give it up for Angel!
This shirt is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. That shirt is bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Yes, give it up for yourselves. Oh yeah. We need more songs that teach kids how to spell. Am I right? Yeah, I love Gwen Stefani. Educational guru. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at you! You made it! This is my dream right here. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I love doing stand-up comedy. It's been my dream to do this show on this stage right here, and here we are. We're doing it. Thank you. Thank you. You know, like when we were kids, we had dreams about what we were going to be when we grew up. You know, like, what did you want to be when you were little?
A singer.
Ooh, a singer. That's fun. All right, what did you want to be? A stripper. First time. Here's the question. Are you a stripper?
No.
No. What about you? Are you a singer?
Terrible singer.
Terrible singer. That's all right, guys. That's usually how it ends up being, right? We don't end up being what we wanted to be when we were little kids. That's, you guys can probably guess, ever since I was a little girl, I just wanted to be an old man. Okay, maybe it wasn't like the most popular of career paths. I didn't see the other toddlers wrapping up their playdates like, well, I'm gonna head out, work in the morning. I started drinking coffee when I was 10 years old, guys. It was ridiculous. I don't know why our parents let us do it. She didn't, my grandma did. But I would be in my middle school homeroom class, all right, with my travel mug on my desk and a bald cap on my head, just griping about how it's gonna rain today. I can feel it in my knees. I really did have bad knees. But you know, I'm getting older now and I want to start like pursuing my goals. So I started picking up some old man hobbies, like obviously I'm doing stand-up now. I started birding, that's been a lot of fun. You guys, this is a great area for birding. My favorite place, if you haven't been, is the Savannah Wildlife Refuge. It's really, really pretty, conveniently located in South Carolina. Which who am I to tell a city where to put its boundaries? But the river seemed good. And you know, I'm hoping by the end of the year, I'll pick up retirement. If I have to work one more day past 30. I don't know what I'll do, guys. Because as you heard, I am employed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. We got any more worker bees in the house? Oh, very good. Debbie Bays is so proud. And but I can't complain. I do have a really good job. I work at the Publix Deli. Exactly, yes, thank you. I make pub subs so you don't have to. The things I've seen, honestly. I'm sorry, I blocked out. But trust me, Publix is a great place to work. And you tell them I told you that. No, I'm joking. I love working in the deli. It is honestly one of the only jobs that I could get where I could have other people pay me to eat my roast beef. And I get great reviews, guys. 5 stars every time. Boar's head. Check his eyes elsewhere. Oh, shit. No, I love Publix. I really do. I've been working there for 2 years now, And I can honestly say that there are so many great reasons to shop at Kroger's. Just the fuel perks alone. I mean, I work at Publix. I cannot afford to shop there. But I do the BOGOs still. I love the BOGOs. Oh, yes. And you know, this past week, it was really nice. I saw they had a dozen roses, buy one, get one. And I thought that was so sweet, you know? So you could, like, get a dozen roses for your girlfriend and still have a dozen for your wife free. So considerate of you, Publix. You really know your demographic. I do work at the Publix on Skidaway Island, so I make sandwiches for men after they're done playing golf. Because their wives won't do it anymore. But, oh no, I saw this headline the other day, it really caught my attention. It said, Hooters closing down 40 locations nationwide. Just heartbreak, right? Tragedy for old men and lesbians everywhere. Because if you don't know, Hooters is an owl-themed restaurant. So it is a big hit for the birding communities. That's right, you know, we'll all gather around after a nice day of birding, and we'll talk about the birds we've seen, you know, the tufted tits, and the boobies, that's a classic, and woodpeckers too, all right? I'm bisexual. Yes, that's right, we're a rarity. I am bi though, and I gotta say, even in this day and age, it was not easy coming out. You know, I still had to sit everyone I know down, just like you guys, and tell them I want to start dating men. And they did not see that one coming. Are you sure it's not just a phase? You have every season of the L Word. I'm told it's very natural, so I'm leaning into it, you know. I'll be honest with you guys. To me, and I won't speak for everyone, but to me, being bisexual, it means that I will let a man destroy my pussy. But I will let a woman destroy my entire life. Again and again and again, it's just crazy. And I'm gonna be real honest with you, the problem with lesbian relationships, it's not like the low income, or the too many periods. The real problem is the sex. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this, but apparently pretty familiar. So you know that it's insane. Right? It's not like they show you in the pornos, okay? I know we have some straight people here. It's not like a fun 20, 30-minute thing between friends. The problem is that there's no real good, determinate stopping point. So we'll just keep going and going perpetually. Like some kind of, I don't know, like we need to be investing in renewable lesbian energy. We're getting to a point here where you have the answers. It's like you'll wake up and, you know, maybe the mood's right, maybe the sun's coming in just right, and you'll start a little hanky-panky, and you just keep going and going and going. And so one of you has to go to work. And so you call off work and you just keep fucking. You just keep fucking and fucking and fucking until you lose the apartment and you're on the streets and you're fucking on the streets. So I thought I'd try men. And I gotta be honest with you guys. Sex with men has been a lot more manageable. It's kind of like a nice game of pool. Yeah, you know, because there's balls. And the guy is always there trying to teach me how to hold the stick right. And if he gets it in the wrong pocket, that's a scratch.
By then I'm like, good game, buddy. We'll do it again sometime. Better luck. So I'm single. You guys think of how I dress? I'd be beating him off with a softball bat. I don't know. Yeah, I'm doing my best though. You know, I'm on the dating apps. I'm trying to tell these guys everything that they need to know. Like, I am a woman. I'm 5'10", and I would love to go fishing. Please. Listen, I'm like new to this area, so I don't really know where the good spots are. Maybe you know where the good spots are. You don't? And like, I don't have my own equipment anymore, so maybe you could provide some of your own. It's like what I'm trying to say is, I don't have a tackle box. But if you take me on your boat, I'll let you tackle my box. Please, guys, I'm getting desperate at this point. No bites yet, though. No bites. Thank you. Oh my gosh. My friend asked me the other day, she was like, how does dating men compare to dating women? So I told her, it's like, well, kind of like, you go on a date with a man, and he'll probably take you to a restaurant that he chose, which is fine, you know, it's fine. And then he'll provide some mediocre conversation. I mean, I know how I look, but I'm not actually that interested in your fantasy football league. I'm not the sporty kind of lesbian, bisexual. But then the best part comes, right? The check, because he pays for it. It's incredible, guys. Don't tell the other lesbians. It's saving a lot of money. But then after it's all said and done, you kind of like expect sex at the end. And it's like, you know, depending on how big his tip was, we'll see. We'll see if we can fit that in, you know? Gratitude is important. We're not supposed to accept tips at Publix, but we will. Now, a lesbian date, it kind of goes more like this, right? You got two girls, obviously. And we're sort of driving around, you know, just trying to decide on a restaurant to eat at. For like an hour and a half. And so we just settled on eating out at home. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That's just a joke. I've never been on a date with a man. Oh, man. Do we got any fans of Buc-ee's in the house? Oh, yeah. That's usually the reaction I get. You people love Buc-ee's. And I gotta say, I'm a big fan of beaver myself. I went there the other day, I had a great time. I got the beaver nuggets, I got the brisket, I got a t-shirt. And I'm pretty sure Buc-ee's is a cult. All right, bear with me, okay? It was started in Texas, right? Like many of the great cults that we know and love today. You know, like Heaven's Gate, Drink the Kool-Aid, that's just Texas. Plus, I've never seen so many people convert to worshiping beaver. I used to be a lesbian. A good one, too. But hey, what do I know about cults, right? I'm only a Christian. That is true. I am gay and a Christian. And that really throws some people through the loop. They're like, you can't be gay and a Christian. The Bible. But it really isn't that complicated, guys. It's not. It basically means that, yeah, sure, I do eat a lot of pussy. And I eat a fair amount of Chick-fil-A. But I won't eat either on Sundays. No, some of my queer friends are like, how were you able to keep your faith after coming out? And I'll be honest, I think it's because I learned about Jesus through the beauty of dancing, singing, animated vegetables. And not from an old man wearing a collar and a
VeggieTales as well? Yeah, that's what I like to hear. If you don't know VeggieTales, it was an awesome kids show. Taught you the greatest parts of the Bible through the beauty of vegetables. I know I loved it. I loved the messages. I loved the songs. I'm pretty sure Bob and Larry were gay. Some of you I might have lost, but it's a tomato and a cucumber living together. They call it VeggieTales, but those guys were a couple of fruits, am I right? Little produce humor for you there. No, but I came out pretty early on in life. When I was a freshman in high school, I came out, and a lot of people, it's not a good time. Maybe they're in a bad situation, but I had a very supportive family. Everyone was very cool with it, and that was a real bummer. Because when I was a little kid, I had dreams about, something really dramatic happening in my life. Like in the movies and in all the books I read. But I've never even been stung by a jellyfish, so when I realized I was gay, I was like, this is the thing, here we go. And I had to start off soft though, right? So first I came out to my siblings. I was like, hey guys, I think I like girls. And they were like, we know. You have an extensive Hot Wheels collection. I was like, all right guys, whatever. So then I came out to my dad. And this one I wasn't really sure how it was going to go, but they're divorced, so it doesn't matter. And no, that was nice. He's a nice dad, I love him. I came out to him, I said, Dad, I think I'm gay. And he said, okay, I'm not. That's too much, Father. I don't know any straight men who like Freddie Mercury that much. I'll walk in and he's watching the AIDS rally. It's just... But I saved the best for last, my mom. She's the real matriarch. She's the one that brought us to church and all that stuff. And so I knew there was no way she could take this well. So I sat her down and I was like, Mom, I'm a lesbian. And worry just struck her face. And I was like, and she grabbed my hand and she said, Emily, it's okay. Just as long as you know that Jesus still loves you. I know. I was like, well, shit! Yeah, obviously. Jesus loves me. This I know. Bob and Larry told me so. You guys are fucking fantastic. I'm about to get out of here, but I did have just one last thing I wanted to discuss with you guys. It's been bothering me recently. Why are the ads before porn so loud? Right? You guys know what I'm talking about. I know they took it away from us recently, but remember the good old days? When you get home from an out eating at McDonald's. Your vibrator's finally charged, the planets have aligned. And you've been scrolling for 45 minutes trying to find a good video. I don't know how long it takes men to find a video, but we gotta vet them, And so finally it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your roommate's asleep and you click on the video and it's just, are you jerking off alone? Jerk off for real, girls! Roommates lie. All pussy is better than no pussy! Fuck real ugly women in your area. Wilmington Island. Guys, Brazzers is free. Thank you so much. I've been enjoying. You've been incredible. You made this happen. Give it up for your host and my co-producer, Shaylin Madigan.
What's up, y'all? I guess I did never introduce myself. Huh? Hi, I'm Shaylin. How's it going? I've been up here and interspersed throughout the day. Y'all, give it up for Enjoy! hanging out with us. This is the first time that we produced Big Chick Energy at Front Porch, and y'all have made a dream come true. Truly, thank you for being a part of that. And y'all, you can come on stage. You co-produce. Come up here. And I'm gonna say a few more things though. What are you gonna say?
Thank you.
Okay. What else you got?
I want to take a picture with you guys.
Okay.
Can I also add, real quick from the booth, that Anna and Martin bought cast round.
Anna and Martin, raise your hands.
None of
No, Woo, you know what, I'm sorry. Woo was a much better thing. Thank you, yeah. All right, get them a lap dance, honey. All right, thanks. Friend, do you want to take the picture inside or outside?
Inside right now.
Inside, okay, hold on. Now, friends, we couldn't do this alone. We do have to thank the folks here at Front Porch Improv for letting us put this show on here. Give it up for Ava in the booth! We had Dan at the bar. We had Raul and Liz checking people in. And friends, this theater opened up in March of 2020. Historically one of the best times for the live arts. But they were able to survive and be a part of the community thanks to folks like you. So thank you for supporting a small, locally owned business. And give it up for yourselves! We would love to take a picture with all of you. Can I have all of my comedians up on stage? Joy, you facilitate this.
Liz, you facilitate this.
And then everybody just stand up and kind of squish in the middle. Ava, can you do house lights?
Yeah, so what Liz said was everybody stand up so that she could get you guys in the background. And I'm going to put some lights on you guys so that you look all pretty and nice. Yay!